So we got the Ergohuman Gen 2 here. I'm going to be above average on this one for sure. I'm going to be right at a B. I think that this is a very well-rounded chair, and the main reason I'm going to be at a B is just simply fit issues. The armrests don't go quite narrow enough for me. I wish they went a little bit narrower, but the pads themselves are super, super comfortable, and the seat is a little bit firm for my liking. It doesn't have any of that flexibility because it does have that hard frame. It's got kind of a typical mesh seat design, but this one is going to be padded on there, so I think it's better than the mesh version. It just lacks that flexibility, and I think the seat could be a little bit more cush, so I'm going to be at a B.
Yeah, that lack of flexibility does make it a little bit of a different style chair, but for me, I still think it's super comfortable. It's going to be an A for me. I like the newer design. The seat's a little flatter, and you can just never feel like you're hitting any hard edges. I personally like this version we're showing with that leather seat. Mesh backrest also kind of gives you that little bit of a cooler experience by having the mesh back, and I just love that lumbar support. It's pretty strong, I always feel, but for me, because of the mesh in that lower part, you can kind of sink into it, so it doesn't feel like it's poking into my back. Headrest is, I can always get that in a great spot, and I really like the arms, so that's going to be an A for me.
Yeah, there was a couple big changes with this chair from the original version, and the arm pads obviously are one of the best changes, being much more similar to the Aeron chair. They're incredibly soft, like Ryan said. They also changed the design and how they do the seat pad with the one that's a leather upholstered. There's padding beneath the leather, and then there's mesh underneath that, so it gives you more of like the suspended feel. The all mesh version, they flattened out that seat design. It doesn't feel like you hit the front edge anymore. And the biggest thing I think with this one, for me personally, the tension adjustment on this lumbar. For people who don't want a lot of lumbar, you can actually reduce the tension. On the first version, it was just right there all the time in your lower back, and it was just full force. This one you can dampen down quite a bit. Otherwise, widely adjustable. As long as you're not like 5'6" or shorter, you should be able to fit in this one pretty well, up to about 6'3", 6'4". I'm going A tier. I think it was a big improvement overall, and I think it's A tier actually overall with everybody's score.
The Sihoo S300, this is one of those chairs where they really packed in a lot of kind of innovative different things, but to me they maybe went a little bit too far. I do kind of like how the backrest feels initially, where you have a ton of just flexibility, you can really move around, but what happens is that doesn't ever really lock in place. So you always kind of feel like you're putting a little bit of tension in your gut to kind of hold yourself in place, and over time that doesn't feel so great. I do like how the headrest is kind of built into the backrest, so if you do want to recline back and kind of lean into that, there is a nice kind of space for your neck and head there. A little bit short on the seat depth though, which is kind of always a problem, especially with a mesh chair. That is a big problem. So for me, I'm going to be at a C-.
This is the prime example of sometimes too much is just too much. I mean, like, this chair has so many different things, but a lot of the things it has I would never use, and these armrests are it's just an absolute deal breaker. I don't understand why some of the companies continue to put this on the back of their arm pads. It makes absolutely no sense. Unless you're going to put your arms way forward like this, it is always going to make it so it's not a flat surface, and then they naturally want to pop up like this, which is just a huge annoyance. I'm going to just put this at a D+. I don't think it's an F tier, but I think if you actually remove some of the features on it, I would actually like this chair more.
Yeah, for me, it's the definition of a chair being gimmicky for the sake of being gimmicky. They added things to it to make it different and stand out, but they don't add to the chair, they just take away from the chair. And I honestly had a hard time not just putting it in straight F tier, because the arms are so bad that I would never be able to use the chair. But the seat is okay, the backrest is okay, so I'm gonna give it a D tier, which is gonna put us at a D tier overall.
If you want to see how we rank all of the most popular chairs, head over to BTODtv to see our full office chair tier list. Click the link in the description.